Hello and welcome on this edition of Hub Encounter, and here dare we say this as an encounter because we have someone who was involved in actual encounters during his career, IPS officer John Shilshi, who was heading anti-terrorism unit in Manipur, and then he was also passport officer for Jammu and Kashmir for a long time. Right now he's retired and you're settled down in Goa.
I'm sort of settled down in Goa.
You like Goa?
Yeah.
More peaceful?
Yeah, very peaceful.
Right from the troubled states to very peaceful states.
Absolutely. I mean, it's totally different from where I have worked. These two places that you mentioned, the Northeast as well as J&K, completely different from Goa.
Okay, now we are interviewing him because he has published a book right now, which is there with us. It is From Himal to Hilton. The Kashmir story. It's about his experience in Jammu and Kashmir as passport officer.
Yes.
We'll come to that, but before that, so we have checked. We did little of Google search. We did little of homework, and we found that your Twitter is blocked. You don't allow people to read what you tweet till you permit them. Yeah. But in the book, you write everything.
Yeah.
This seems to be a little contrast.
Well. Twitter, as you know, it's an open house. So sometimes you get lots of remarks and comments which are actually not desirable, not connected with what you commented or what you tweet. So it's better to be a little bit exclusive. That's the reason, nothing else.
But here you have opened up everything through this book to the people, the account of and experiences in Jammu and Kashmir.
Yeah, because what happened is this, as you can understand, the book, the content of the book is for people to read. Basically, what happened is, better that whatever we have done in the past, whatever happens, so newspapers will carry, news channels will carry for 1-2 days. After that, nobody remembers, it's forgotten. But these are some of the accounts that I have written. They're important. It's necessary for people to know, especially people who wants to do research,
This book is about your experience in Jammu and Kashmir as regional passport officer.
Yes.
And you went there despite being IPS. So for a common person to know what is IPS officer doing in the passport office is a question.
Yes, very interesting and very relevant question, because what happened, though I was a police officer and I was on deputation to the central government, the passport office in Srinagar was having some problem. There was an issue of security which was involved because one militant was issued passport. From there, everything started, and then the government was zeroing in on some people who can go and head the office. And I don't know, rightly or wrongly, they focused on me, and that's how I went.
IPS officer heading a passport office. Is it like more of a, not the job that you are trained for?
Well, see, entirely, let me admit that I was not the only one, actually, who headed, among the police officers who headed passport office. In fact, that time, my counterpart in Chandigarh was also an IPS officer. As far as the job as to whether a police officer can do a job which is pertaining to MEA, actually we don't have anything like that. See, we are officers, we are trained, and any assignment that you get, civil or security or anything.
But you are trained more for intelligence gathering.
Yeah, of course, intelligence gathering.
Into intelligence bureau.
Yeah, intelligence gathering, and then policing and law and order, security, and so on and so forth. But if you look at very closely, even the passport offices has security, connected work. That's
why I'm asking this question for our viewers is we went through your introduction, and those people who have not met you, or for them this is John S. Shilshi is a retired IPS officer from Manipur, trained in counter-insurgency and counter-terrorism.
Yeah.
And next sentence is important. You led the elite civil police commando unit from 1992 to 2000.
Yeah.
And we have even read the preface wherein Jarnail Singh says that you are most of the time seen with arms in your uniform, fighting back all these troubled, fighting back in these troubled areas.
Yes, see, what happened is, Manipur was totally a different scenario altogether. Policing, no doubt. Policing, which is actually not the common type of policing, law and order and investigation of cases, not that kind of policing alone. Here in Manipur, what happened, because insurgency was very, very active and it was creating havoc in the society. We needed some people, a special force which will actually encounter what we call handle this situation. The common police of the policemen cannot do that. So these boys that we let, they were also trained people in the field. And then naturally, let me also say one more thing, that among the senior officers also, they were many people were reluctant to get that assignment, because one is that the threat level is very high. Second is that it involves almost 24 hours involvement. Whether you're sleeping, any time a call can come, you have to be there, And though it is said that police job as such is 24 hours job, but ours was all the more, because there's a bomb blast here, there's a shooting here, the ambush there. So we have to be, all the time running around, doing these and handling. So that's how I was looking after the civil police commandos. And of course, that is not to say that the rest of the police responsibilities were not given.
But you are heading important responsibilities.
Yeah, that was the important.
A layman on street will ask you this question after reading your introduction.
Yeah.
How many people you have killed?
No, nothing. I can't say how many people I have killed. I think basically it is the force which actually fights. We give command, we give control, we direct, we are the policy makers, and of course we let them in the field. See, when there is a hot pursuit and hot encounter which is taking place, you don't know whose bullet has hit whom. But one thing we have ensured, rather I have ensured, was that nobody, whoever is already apprehended and in our hand, was never shot and killed, never. But in that battle-like situation, when they are also firing, we are also firing, in that kind of situation, we don't know how many people my bullet might have hit. It's just sheer luck and divine providence that I am still alive, of course. Otherwise, it's such a situation where, you cannot be choosy, you cannot be cherry picking, because it's like a battle, you see.
You go and fight.
You go and fight, and there's an encounter. Whoever outsmarts the other, they win. We arrest. Some people die during the course of the encounter. Also, not only in the insurgents, but even the policemen. There are several people whom we have lost, and that's actually the situation.
Let's talk about Jammu and Kashmir.
Yeah.
You went to Jammu and Kashmir, you set up the regional passport office there, which was blown earlier in 1990s. And then again, when you set it up, on the day when you were transferred back to Delhi, it was blown up again.
Yeah, small correction. The Jammu and Kashmir passport office was already there. The blowing up story was of the 1990. Then in the year 1996, that office was restarted, and there was some other officer who was looking after. I went there. Basically, my job was to streamline the working. I mean, to bring back some semblance of how the Government of India officers work, number one. And secondly, the most important was computerization, which we did in about 18, 19 months.
Computerized the entire
Yeah,
office.
we did it. Yeah.
And again, the day when you are ready to say, job done and
Yeah.
I'm going back, was the day there was terror attack.
Yeah, actually, these are, the strange ways how life goes. As you have rightly mentioned, and I mentioned in this book also, that the very day the incident happened and the passport office was blown up, I was transferred. I saw my transfer order to Delhi.
2005.
2005, January 15th.
Jan
And it was on the same day that this incident happened and the passport office was blown up. In that militant-related action, I won't say militant attack, but a militant-related action, the passport office was blown up.
You're about to leave, you're about to come back to Delhi, and then again you have to stay back.
Yeah, I have to stay back because one main reason was that, you see, first of all, let me be very honest with you. I didn't want to leave the place defeated. I didn't want to leave the place defeated. Secondly, it's a very important Government of India office. Therefore, suppose if I leave and go, it's quite possible that some new person may not like to come and take over from that kind of scratch or maybe start all over again. But since I was already there, I knew the situation. And also, I was thinking that no running away in defeat. That was the main thing.
That's the spirit.
Yeah, that was the main thing, because first of all, it also matters a lot for the country. It sends a message that when some kind of incident happened, then you leave the office and go away. Suppose if I go away, they who knows, they might never start the office also. Even if they start, they would have started after maybe 5-6 years only. So that was one of the reasons why I decided to stay. And to my good luck, the ministry in Delhi, the seniors, all supported. They all supported my idea. They gave all the possible assistance and helping hand. That's how I was able to re-establish the office.
Everything is mentioned here in the book.
Yeah, it is there.
All the counts are there.
Yeah, yeah. All those what they call, the sequence of things, how it happened, and how we rebuilt the office, and how the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir inaugurated the new office. All these are there in the book.
This is also a proud moment for us that we are sitting next to you, because you are the nodal officer for one of the most historic initiative between India and Pakistan, that is Muzaffarabad Srinagar bus service. You are representing India, and this bus service started when your office was blown up.
Yeah, you're very right. Actually, see, there what I have to tell is that destiny is something you, me, or anybody can change. Destiny leads you to such an extent that you cannot revert from it. First of all, the way I went and took over the office in Kashmir, never in my wildest of dream, I never thought I'll go and work in Kashmir. Not as anything, but as a regional passport officer, head of that passport office. Secondly, as you have rightly mentioned earlier, I was already going away to Delhi on transfer. But this incident happened, I stayed back. And because of this India-Pakistan bus between Srinagar and Muzaffarabad, I became part of the small history making, and I tasted slice of peace in the midst of that conflict. So destiny, you just can't say.
That slice of peace was very interesting, because then you had to construct a bridge, which is Aman Setu, which was connecting India and Pakistan together, and then finally bus came. Everything is mentioned here.
Yes, it is mentioned there. I have even mentioned how, the two conflicting nations, India and Pakistan, from 1949, this particular place through which the buses were passing through, they were in one of the hottest points of conflict since 1949. There, the moment you see a human being, movement from either side, they were firing. This is what the army officers, army friends told us, But that hottest point of conflict was converted into a human activity by way of construction of the bridge. Also the roads, which were actually mined, which remained mined from 1949 on both sides, mind you. Indian side, 15 kilometers of the road was mined. On the other side also, around 12 to 15 kilometers were mined, because none of the armies wanted a surprise. But all these were things of the past once the two countries decided that peace has to be given a chance.
And you were nodal officer representing India.
Yes, I was the nodal officer. When we say nodal officer, the duty of the nodal officer is that people who are to come from Pakistan are submitted to you, their list is submitted. My people from India, the Indian passenger who are supposed to go to Pakistan, are being verified and they are certified by me. They go under my signature.
And the first bus that went under your signature.
Yeah. First, second. I did up to the second bus, After that, up to the third bus. And fortunately, after that, the office stood up. Office was functional. I left. Otherwise, I did the first one, the second one, and third one. The first one is on the 7th of April 2005, and the second one is a fortnight later, because these buses were exchanged once in a fortnight.
Okay, so now this is the actual account of what happened during those days.
Yes.
Now again, you are IB officer. Yeah. There must be so many inputs which might go in this book and might go against the security of the country.
Yeah. No. See, what happened, let me be very clear on this one. As a professional intelligence officer, we never divulge any kind of secret information, even if it is 50 years from the time that it takes place. That is the kind of training that we have undergone. We are not supposed to divulge any kind of sensitive information in any form, in the form of writing an article, a book, or whatever. And as you can make out, this book is basically an account of a civilian officer who is an interface to the public, who deals with the problem of the public firsthand. Okay, and there is no secret as far as these accounts are concerned. It is open to everybody. In fact, they have all been read and so many times. But it's just that I have put them into a better account, so that what they heard and what they read is just a cursory of the thing that happened. In the case of my book, it will give you a proper account of dot to dot, like how everything happened. That's all.
Another thing is that when did you actually thought that you can become a writer? Because I think all your life you were an officer, and then you served in such places where I don't think you will even have a time to write down anything.
Yes, that's again very interesting question you are asking, because you know what happened when I joined the service. I read lots of books written by very many senior people, police as well as civil, also the army and air force and etc. etc. But the thing is, one thing struck my mind, that all these writings that I read, it's all about in the form of do's and don'ts, or in the form of this should have been done, that should have been done, but it never happened. This kind of should have been done, should not have been done. They were never actually spoken, perhaps, by these officers when they are in service. They write after service. So I always used to think, one point is this one. Another point is that most of these senior officers writing, you will find that it is of that high level, when they hold high position. Never the grassroots, the beginning, where any officer has maximum problem. For example, the book on Manipur, which the Vale of Tears, my first book, it's about the conflict, the violence, and all kinds of violence activities that is taking place, which I handle directly as a police officer, as a subdivisional police officer, as additional SP, okay? That the field level. So what happened is, this field level accounts are very rarely available.
They need to be documented.
Yeah, it has to be documented, because what happened, young officers, when they want to see how to function in the field, they have to read these books. That reading by that high funda books, which is written of the position of, say, DG, or or some generals writing of that position, that may not be too helpful. Therefore, these books, you see, from that time only, I made a point that I am going to keep an account of this one in the form of a book. Therefore, I maintained a meticulous diary.
You were never a writer. You were never a professional writer.
Yeah, not at all.
Was it in you earlier that you used to think I should write?
I am not a writer, I mean, in the real sense. But the thing is, yes, I love writing. I love keeping accounts of certain things. Few times I have also written for few magazines and newspapers, even while in service, something related to social and economic and things like that. Not like this. These are big things, because these are things that I can do only after I retire.
But compiling such a book, recalling all those years of your service,
yeah,
and then remembering them as per the exact dates and exact time, whom you met. I've seen you describing whom I met on the street on so and so day, and he told me this and this thing. This seems to be either you have a super mind, or you must have written down somewhere in that thinking that I'll write a book somewhere.
Yeah, not really a super mind. It was simply a habit, that habit of maintaining a diary day to day. And I never throw away my diary. They're always there, and then in the form of scratch, written with a pen, I have them. And also another thing that I would like to tell you is photography. Photos are the biggest storytellers, and they are the biggest story reminders. You see, you may study 10 pages, but the thing is, if you see one picture, in the form of a photo. It reminds you the entire scenario, what happened on that day, where you went, who are the people you met. So this is how I managed. And you would see that in my book, there are also some photographs which I thought should be, incorporated, and I have them.
Was this vetted by IB? Was this vetted by security forces? Before you actually publish it?
Yes, of course. See, now for your kind information, in 2021, the government of India came out with a new rule saying that, those of us particularly, those of us who had worked or who had served in sensitive organizations for several years, we must take permission before we write. So this whole manuscript was submitted to the MHA, to the government, and then people who are in charge of doing this kind of thing, they have gone through and they vetted and they gave a written permission.
Was there anything that was deleted from
No,
here?
they didn't. Because I had carefully, I have carefully chosen what I have to write, what I have not to write, So there was nothing which, and being an old hand, we also know, we have worked in the government for several years. So we know what are the things which may be objectionable, and those are actually not included. So they have approved it ditto. There was no problem.
Would you like to get this book into a movie?
No, I don't know. No, I can't say that. This is actually just a very humble.
And if yes, then which actor should play your role?
No, I'm sorry, I can't comment on that, because this is simply a very humble account of what I have done, what I have encountered, what I have seen, what I have experienced on the field. That's all, and I don't think, I don't hope beyond that, honestly speaking.
So after this interview, if someone wants to buy this book, where they should search it for?
One is that they can buy on Amazon, they can buy on Flipkart. It is available. They have to just type my name or the name of the book. They can get. And some of them can also reach out to me directly. No problem. There are people who got the book directly because they wanted a signed copy.
Okay.
So some of
we are also getting your signature on
this.
this.
No problem.
From Himmel to Hilton.
Yeah.
These are two hotels. You started living in Himmel Hotel when you went to Jammu and Kashmir.
Yeah.
And your last day you checked out from Hilton Hotel.
Yeah. Actually, yes. Basically, many people were mistaking. They had solid queries made on this one. What is Himal and what is Hilton all about? So the thing is the title of the book is trying to be, I'm trying to make the title of the book little intriguing and interesting for my readers. That's all. Actually, as you have rightly pointed out, Himal is also a hotel, Hilton is a hotel. Why Himal to Hilton is that because in Kashmir, no officers are kept separately. It's a security problem. So what happened, all the officers are kept together under centrally arranged security arrangement. Okay, so we all stayed in Himal. From there, I moved to another hotel, which I didn't mention in between, the TRC and others. And then finally, I moved to Hilton. That's how I spent there almost 3 years of my posting in
It's like coincidentally H Himal and H Hilton. You entered in
correct, yes.
Starting with H alphabet and
yes, absolutely.
Last day was with H
Hilton,
alphabet.
The last one was Hilton. Actually.
Last one was Hilton. Okay, after that,
yes.
You came back to Delhi and then you joined Prime Minister's office.
No. See, I joined the National Security Council Secretariat much later. After I came back from Kashmir, I went to Nepal. Okay. And again, these are all how destiny takes you, So from Manipur, one conflict area, Kashmir, another conflict place, and then to Nepal. That time, Nepal was very disturbed. Monarchy, actually, the Maoist insurgency, actually, and the political parties came together. They brought down monarchy. But monarchy did not crumple just one day like that. It took at least so many months of agitations, hartals and agitations and protests and then marching to the palace, etc. It was so disturbed. Nepal was also so disturbed. So I saw from a very close quarter again how monarchy fell in Nepal.
So now next book would be on Nepal.
I don't know. I'm actually, I need to think sometime. Maybe yeah, I can, because even Nepal also I have everything, all recorded. So.
And from Nepal, you came back to
I
Delhi.
came back to Delhi. From there, I didn't move. I was in Delhi and I retired. And 2 years before my retirement, I went to the National Security Council Secretariat, which is the National Security Advisor's Office.
For Prime Minister.
Yeah, of the Prime Minister.
And then you retired.
Yes, from there I retired, and
How did you thought of coming to Goa?
Well, see, Goa, before that, before my final decision also, I have always known Goa as a very peaceful place, undisturbed, very, very quiet, and most importantly, what happened when we are sitting in the center, in the IB headquarters, the whole country we see as one, it's like one huge police station, one district. We see the whole country from that perspective. So we study the various indexes of states, and Goa was one of the most peaceful ones. And since I had an intention of writing books and then writing, articles or whatever, I need a very peaceful place where I can come and do that without being disturbed, and that's how I decided to come to Goa.
And you retired from the position of Inspector General, IG.
The equivalent, yeah.
Equivalent to IG.
In the center, yeah.
And Goa is the last destination, or are you going back to your state?
Well, see, who can say about tomorrow? As I told you, destiny takes you from one journey to another. Maybe there will be something that comes up, and then I may change my mind also. But then as of now, I haven't changed my mind. I'm staying put.
Thank you very much, sir, for spending time with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, and for those, and I'll say this in Konkani, जेंका कळपाचें आसा की काश्मीरान तेन्ना कितें कितें जालें, आनी खास करून जेन्ना भारत आनी पाकिस्तानाचे मदीं बस सेवा सुरू जाली तेन्ना कितें जालें, ताचे पयलीं काश्मीरान मिलिटन्सी आशिल्ली तेन्ना पासपोर्ट ऑफिस कशें जळ्ळें, आनी ह्यो सगळ्यो गजाली तुमकां जर जाणून घेवपा खातीर जाल्यार हें पुस्तक वाचा. तुमी एमेझॉनाचेर हें पुस्तक घेवपाक शकता, फ्रॉम हिमल टू हिल्टन, दी कश्मीर स्टोरी. इंटरव्यूचे सकयल जर तुमी कॉमेंट्सान विचारलें तांचे डिटेल्स जाल्यार तांचो ईमेल एड्रेस आनी हें आमी तुमकां दितले. कॉमेंट्स मातशे सांबाळून मारा, कारण दिस इंटरव्यू इज नॉट हब एनकाउंटर फॉर द sake of encounter, because I'm sitting next to a person who has actually encounter is a very common word for words, one common word for him. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
तुम्ही पळयतात हब एनकाउंटर on your favorite website www.goanews.com. channel partners are RDXGOA and production partners are Prasad Deshpande mentored goabalin.com. Keep watching us.
Follow Goa News Hub on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter.
Hi, I am Kaushal Palekar.
Hi, I am Ketan Golatkar.
Hanuman Neglur.
Rahul Desai.
Neeraj Bandekar.
Prasad Deshpande.
Hi, I am Rupesh Samant.
I am associated with
Goa News Hub.
Goa News Hub.
Goa News Hub.
Follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Like us,
Share us
And subscribe us.
download our app from Google Play Store.
for latest news updates.
Visit www.goanewshub.com.
Keep watching us.